Yeah, we was over my sister's house in the projects, and that's where we started She's Mine at.
Okay. Now, did you then think we could try and sample the sort of the New Jack sound, or did Gene say, "Look, I want you guys to sound like Guy and today," or what was the feeling around the drums and the stuff?
Yeah, he told us he wanted New Jack. He said it got to be New Jack. And
Okay.
like I said, I had the same crate samples that Teddy had.
Okay.
So I didn't ask Teddy what sample should I use, or I just went through the crate on my own. And at the time, Gene was kind of playing us against each other. Once he knew Guy wasn't coming back. Yeah, but at the same time, Teddy was reaching out, sending messages to us. Don't sign
Oh.
with Gene. Yeah, don't sign with Gene. I want y'all to come to New York. And, of course, we couldn't tell Gene that.
Oh. Okay. So he was still trying to be with you guys.
Yeah, I just think at the time he didn't want Gene to be successful. So but he was sending messages down. We knew the same people that like, man, Teddy wants y'all to call him. And, yeah, he said he got something for y'all. He don't want y'all to sign the Gene.
But did you guys have a conversation about that and decide, or what was it? Did you how did that go?
We talked amongst ourselves, but we decided to stay because we was at home with family, and we figured Gene was the money man. So I mean,
Okay, okay, and and it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's hard to trust and everything. I guess Gene kind of, you knew his mom. He called for you guys and stuff like that.
yeah.
But so what about nothing but okay? If we get to nothing but a party, how did who did the writing and production of that?
Okay, nothing but a party was done when Gene moved us back. We was when we first came from New York. Everybody went to our hometown, Columbus. So Gene said, after the holidays, I'm gonna find y'all a spot up in Atlanta, close to me. So we just, it's like a production house. We knock out music, then we go in the studio, and that's exactly what started happening. So after the holidays, everybody came back up to Atlanta, and he moved us to Duluth. It was us, Dezo, Zan the Man, and Zan had friends, his girlfriend staying with him at the time, and Artie and Spec. And like one music house, man. In the morning we get up, eat breakfast. If Artie wasn't on the drum machine, I would be on it. And we had it set up in the living room again. And if we was doing music, Zan would go running with his friend, with his girlfriend. And then when we got through, with Basic Black got through, either Zan or Artie would get on the drum machine. And so and we did nothing but a party because it was a club in our hometown called City Lights. And we actually, the owner used to let us in like
Okay.
free when we was at home. And we just told him one day, man, we gonna write a song about the club. And he thought we were playing, oh man, nah, y'all just bullying, y'all just BSing. And
Yeah.
we went back to Atlanta and we wrote the Nothing But a Party song.
Yeah, the
And
only song we know is
like
City Lights. Yeah.
yeah. And I was on the drums. I did the drums. I did a little bit of keys. Spec did a lot of the keys. And the writing was me, KB, and KB, Dezo, and Gene actually put in some fill-ins. He the one told us to throw the only party we know. The only party we know is City Lights.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
but we actually called the song Nothing But a Party after the club City Lights.
Okay. It's funny because that's probably one of my favorite New Jack tracks
Uh-huh.
for many years, and it was a track that I thought, oh man, I'm sure Teddy produced it because it was, it's really, they're really powerful stuff. But did he ever, has he ever told you guys about what he thought about the track years later, or even then?
Years later, because he sent for me after Basic Black split with Gene.
Mm.
Teddy finally got in touch with me and flew me up to Virginia Beach. So when I got there, he like, man, like I always wanted to tell y'all, man, y'all album was really nice. He said y'all had a lot of talent. I always wanted y'all under me. So that's what he told me up there in Virginia Beach. But yeah, he say he loved the album. He was crazy about like Nothing But a Party, She's Mine. Those are two of his favorites.
Yeah. Okay, that's really good to hear. So here you guys have recorded the stuff. Dezo's amazing vocals on it. She's Mine comes out. They get a remix with CL. And then Motown come picking you guys up. How was it for you guys? Do you feel like, yeah, we're finally here? The money's that are coming in.
Once we met Stevie Wonder, we realized, we once we saw Vine Street and met Stevie and some more artists up at the Motown building, we were like, okay, it's sinking in now. We finally made it.
But then what? I'm surprised the album didn't do bigger than it did. What do you think? What was wrong?
Well, after that album, we kind of like start questioning, asking questions, and when are we gonna see some royalties and stuff like that. And then Gene started trying to play us against each other, and he started pulling back on promotions. And I think once Motown got whiffed of it, they started pulling back off it too, because they feel it's going to be another Gene and Guy situation that split up. So we right after we finished the first album, Gene immediately told us we need to start working on the second album. And we was like, wait a minute, man, where the royalties at from the first one? And we didn't know about royalties. We didn't know about the mechanicals and all that stuff. We just were happy, sign the contract, do videos, and get out there. And so we start questioning him about the money. Then he started, well, I asked him about the royalties. Then he was like, well, Motown don't want you. They just want the other three. I like, oh, really? So then I said, okay, I'm leaving then. So I walk out the meeting. Then he come out in the out in the hallway and talk to me, get me to come back in the meeting, but it still went south, after that. And I didn't have to question Gene about the money, because I was getting everything I wanted anyway, because we was in the studio. Once we finished the first Basic Black album, I was helping Gene do other artists like Atlanta Rap Band and Pretty in Pink, and some more stuff he was doing. And Gene was paying me.
Okay.
And, I went and bought me a Mercedes. I had my own apartment with a loft. I didn't have to shop for clothes, But I, being that the other three members wasn't, living like me, I still went to bat for them. So I actually didn't have to question, but type of person I am, I asked him, what about the royalties for the first album?
Controls, where he's producing an endless list of artists, such as Pretty in Pink, who are doing quite well on the charts.
This talent of yours and how successful you've been through all of these years, what pulled you back to the Peach?
Well, for one thing, I'm coming home, and I thought that Atlanta offered all the things that I wanted at this time, and New York, for some reason, had stopped offering the things that I needed. Mainly peace of mind, and in order to be creative, you need an environment that's not so overly stressful, and Atlanta offers that.
Yeah. So you would agree that you can do everything here that you could do up there, but the added ingredient is that peace of mind and having some space rather than the congestion.
You're perfectly right, and let me add a little more to it, meaning talent. Atlanta is full of raw talent, though. So I'm really in, it's almost like being thrown in paradise. That's where it's talent.
Yeah. And actually, we know that we have all this great talent down here. We didn't know that, the world was aware of it yet. But obviously, that's because of your exposure and the fact that you always back and forth here throughout the years. And how did Basic Black, I understand that you're responsible for their success and they're from Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah, they came to me in a strange kind of way. My mother still lives in Columbus, Georgia, by the way. Oh. And we were playing in Columbus with the group Guy, which was also my group.
That's one of your tremendous successes, is that right?
Yeah, they're extremely successful now. They were like my babies.
Oh,
and we played there, and the kids had heard that I was from Columbus. They didn't believe it. And when they found that I was from Columbus, they sat in front of my mother's house all night, waiting for me to wake up the next morning. And they said, we got this tape for you, and we wish you'd listen to it. And I listened to it, and I said, if I'd like it, I'll call you.
I understand they're doing very well on the charts now, aren't they?
They're doing very well. The album is near gold now, and this is their first album. And anytime you can go gold out of the box, as we call it, you know, we feel real, real good about it.
So they've only been with you for just about 2 years?
About 2 years, yes.
Yeah. And have you been writing for them?
I write most of their songs.
Wow.
Some of the songs we collaborate on them, but by and large, I am the producer and the writer and the manager and the president of the company. You know, I do it all.
Honey, I got news for you. You can do anything you want to. Now it's all about me, baby. And it was all about you. You be good to me, I'll be good to you. Sacrifice for you, and it was all about you. Sometimes love don't last forever, oh no.
I work with local talent. Yeah. I don't go outside of Atlanta, or should I say Georgia, to look for anything, even though we get tapes from other places. But my talent comes from Georgia, primarily Atlanta.
Because there's so much here.
It's full. And this is why I came home. Let me also add this. The attitudes of the kids in the South are just so different from the attitudes of the kids in the North that it makes sense to come here and get them. They want it. They want it real, real badly. They're hungry. They're humble. And I guess because of upbringing and being kept, as they say, down on the farm, they're still nice kids.
Do you find that in reference to your bringing up here in the South, can you identify with the way they're brought up? I mean, that family unit is much stronger here than it is?
Well, I think that there's more control of the family here, usually by the mothers, but there's still control. And no matter how far a kid goes to the left, you know, you don't have to call the police on them, call the mother. They'll respond to the mother more so than anybody else. And as long as you have that on you, you know, it's easy to work with them, without a doubt, without a doubt. And the parents are just so proud of their kids when they see them on television. And that makes everybody feel good. So I like the Southern kids, I really do. I really like working with them.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
You're a Georgia Pete, so it's understandable. You're identifying with your own. And we're so glad that you came back to Atlanta.
And I'm real, real happy to be back in Atlanta.
And we're going to be watching you with a proud eye, and we want you to keep us up to date. And we are going to be following you all the way. And
So you've had Gene, who Teddy's saying, look, leave Gene because he's going to take your money, look at what he's doing to us. And then you start to question him about royalties and stuff, and he's playing you guys. Did you then think, you know, it's this Basic Black? I mean, you've done one album, you still had the opportunity to do another album. How did you guys decide to call it quits? Was it because you guys were having infighting among yourselves, or was it because you're like, we're not going to make it with Gene, or what was the decision?
Yeah, we stood together, so we weren't fighting amongst each other, but we just figured, like, you know, it's not gonna get any better, you know. Like, the more money he get, the more he gonna want. So we decided to just, you know, just take a break.
Well, you guys know, so I've heard stories from others who've been around. Fat Man Scoop, was he around when you guys were in New York? Did you notice it?
I don't remember Fat Man Scoop.
He said he was friends with Markel and Rex and Effects, so he was part of their sort of group. But he interviewed Teddy couple of months ago and said how Gene was the Suge Knight before Suge Knight kind of thing.
Gene was the first Suge Knight.
Yeah, and in fact, Suge Knight learned from Gene how to do stuff. Did you guys feel threatened at all, yourself personally?
Not me. I came up differently from the other three. So that's why, you know, when I said me and Gene had the little altercation, I stepped out in the hall. You know, he asked me to step out in the hall, and I stepped out in the hall. So then he started talking to me like, man, come on, do the second album, man. You know, Motown waiting on it, you know. So, but not me, but you know, the other three may have been, you know, a little frightened from it. But I said, I was from the projects. I came up from the projects. So yeah, I don't, even though I knew his past, it ain't easy for me. I mean, I just don't get scared like that from knowing about somebody's past.
Yeah. So when you guys decided to split the group, then did you continue with Gene after the group disbanded, or what did you end up doing?
No, we kept working. We kept doing music as Basic Black.
Oh,
and you know, but we couldn't. We was doing music as Basic Black, and we couldn't find nobody that would go against Gene to get us out the contract, you know, to work with us. Everybody was scared of Gene.
Wow.
Until we met one lawyer that said, I can find breaches in your contract and I can get you out of your contract. And by that time, you know, everybody had grew apart, you know, and you know, we just went our separate ways. But it took a while. So we was gone from the game probably a year or two.
Okay. So what were you guys doing?
Actually, just kept doing production.
But you were doing it separately, or as?
Yeah, we were working separately.
Okay. So when he finally got you, the lawyer got you guys out of the contract?
Yeah, the lawyer got us out, and by that time, you know, we was dismantled then, so it wasn't no more Basic Black.
Okay.
And so immediately after we got out the contract, I got that call from Virginia Beach.
Okay.